Okay. Hey guys, this is Thigh Company here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream. Today is January the 26th, 2024. Welcome everyone to today's live stream. And yeah, we're going to be talking about another friend story. We did one a few days ago talking about Cody. So 8 days ago. So yeah, that would have been about a week ago. And so today's friend story is going to be about a friend that I had when I was in middle school and maybe like the first year of high school, but mainly in middle school, I would say, because we kind of like end up losing communication with one another sometime in high school, I would say. And I knew him probably right around maybe arguably a little bit earlier before I met Cody. Um, but the guy's name is Connor. I don't remember what his last name is, and that's what sucks. Uh, and I've been looking around, and I don't even think I can find him on Facebook anymore. And I might even go on Facebook right now to see if I can pull his information up, possibly. But I want to say we met when I was in like sixth grade or something like that. And let me do this. I'm going to type. Okay, there we go. I have his name now. Connor Amon, I think, or Amon or Amon. I think Amon is what he goes by, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, and then the last photo that I have of him was back from like 2017. And I think he moved to Charleston. But I'll go into the whole story. So, yeah, we met in like when I was in sixth grade. And we went to this international school where we were learning foreign languages. And I was at that time in the French program, and I suspect he was in the French program as well, um, but I'm not sure because he kind of was moving from one program to another, from what I remember. But I suspect that he probably was also in the French program at that time. But I remember he was like a grade. I think either he joined. I suspect he was somebody who like joined my grade late, or like what ended up happening was I was like ended up being a grade one grade ahead of him, or one class if you want to say that. Um, what ended up happening was we also took a few like music classes, and what I mean by music is we took like orchestra, and I think I was playing the violin or taking violin classes, and he was in the same class, but they had him either on a violin or a viola, and I don't remember the exact details because of how long it's been. Um, and geez, it's been like over 10 years, probably 15 years or more since this was a thing. Um, but yeah, we were in the same. I think we took orchestra like 2 or 3 years in a row when back then, and I seem to remember they put me in the class in front of him. And what's the guy was he was a very friendly, nice guy, but everybody liked to make fun of him back then. And there's a whole list of all kinds of different people I can think of who made fun of him. Like we had this crazy girl named Janessa or Janessa, whatever her name was, kind of an overweight Mexican girl who liked to always make fun of him, and I felt so bad for Connor as well. And eventually, like I think he ended up disappearing for like a year, and then I eventually met him again at our like local YMCA. And our local YMCA was sort of a unusual one because it was like one of the biggest ones in Charlotte, and they had like a main section. Like it was weird because it was a whole entire huge complex. They had a main building which had a pool. They had sort of like a chapel slash player room, and then they had like basketball courts, a sports center. They had I think it was like a two-level gymnasium, and on top of the basketball court, they had this huge track that you could walk around to. But we were like friends, and he was like the type of friend you could go and like work out with. You could talk about like school with. I don't think we ever talked about work or jobs because this was like maybe a few years before either of us started working. It may have even been earlier than that too, because I don't recall what year was the last year I met him. And it may have been back when I was in high school. So if it was like beginning of high school, it would have been like 4 or 5 years before I started work. But when we met, now to go back to the middle school days, we took at least orchestra together. And he was part of a group of kids. Like he was I think he was a good student. I don't remember. I suspect he was a good student. And the problem was he was in a group of kids where the other kids liked to make fun of him and bully him, and also were like bad students compared to him, and he was a good student. Um, and unfortunately, this constant like group of people nagging him and uh, bothering him, I think kind of hindered a lot of maybe a little bit of the like what do you call it, growth of what do you call it? Not academics or emotional growth, but like I don't know. I felt like bad that people were doing that, and I tried to get people to stop doing that, but it just wasn't something that I was actively able to do. But by the time we were like close to high school, and then this is what I call the YMCA years. Uh, Everything was cool because we always would meet up at this what they call like a what do they call it? Not a teen center, but it was sort of like I think they called it young adults multi-purpose center or something like. They had a weird name for it because they had a huge like arcade room in the middle. And then what's weird is like around this arcade room where teens and a bunch of other kids go in and play games, they also had like a few tables where kids can go and either play, trading cards or go do their homework. And it was, a really nice area for kids to kind of hang out at if you were a YMCA member. Um, and it was like right outside of an outdoor pool. But they had a few weird things, like they had around the perimeter of this building, they had a bunch of like dance classes and ballet. What was the other one? Like dance classes in general for like very young kids. And I know the moms, you'd have a lot of the what you call the soccer moms would love to take their kids to those classes. And then eventually they got rid of some of those dance classes and they started putting in other classes. Like they had one or two art classes. And then eventually they kind of started morphing all the classes into these like what they call religious leadership classes, which was like you'd get one of those like Christian youth leaders, and they'll just have kids do a bunch of stuff. And I wasn't crazy about that because, and I don't think Connor was either. But um, we ended up doing some of that together. But um, during the YMCA years, I started getting like to know him better, and we were like I think he ended up moving to a different school or something like that. But somewhere I even had his phone number at one point, and we would get to like talk to each other, or just be like, hey, how's it going and all that. And I think one time we hung out somewhere, I don't know if, but I ended up finding out that he was adopted. And because I figured something was weird, and I figured out that his parents were basically, for lack of a better way to explain it, his parents were white and he was Asian. And I was like, I wonder, what's the situation there? Turns out he was adopted at a young age, and he was from a small like town or city in somewhere in the middle of Russia that was famous for watermelons. And I don't remember what the name of the place is called. I think it began with the letter A though. And I'm going to try to Google this up right quick here. Hopefully, it might pull something up, it might not. Let me go to screen share. It might pull something up here. To kind of, I guess, show you all what I'm thinking or looking at here. So I'm going to type in Russian town famous for watermelons. I have no clue. I don't think it was Saratov. It was a. Suspect it was something that began with the letter A. I might be wrong, but I don't even think Connor knew himself at that point. He may or may not have known, but regardless, what ended up happening to him at the end, like right before I lost contact with him, is he started developing this very huge obsession with the Navy. And he ended up going to the Navy, which, it's good for him because he had a passion and he generally wanted to go. And it wasn't something that he was like forced into going. He just had his own natural desire to go to the military, which, I applaud him for having that. So he ended up going to the Navy, and he had a very big obsession with like Navy, like aircraft carriers, battleships, destroyers, everything from, everything from like the battleship game, right? He also liked the Air Force. He was into warplanes. He was into like, what do you call it? There's a name for this type of study, but it's like involving like people who like World War II history, aviation, naval crafts and all that, boats and all that. And when he went into, my understanding is that he did go into the Navy, but when he went into there, I was not able to get any further contact with him. And the last photograph that I have from him is from 2017, which is from now 7 years ago. And I have no clue what happened to him. So I find that very strange. I'm gonna, what I'm gonna try to do, because supposedly he moved to Charleston, which I won't be surprised if that is the case. I'm curious what happened to him. Here's a Connor who lives in Charleston. That might be him. It looks like you may not know this person. Send requests to people know personally. I should know this person. Why do you give me that? That is so weird. I can't send a friend request to him. It looks like Connor too. Well, there's a 2020 photograph, but I don't know why it won't let me send him a friend request. And he's got naval photos, which is what it makes sense. But why on earth can I send him a friend request? It looks like you may not know this person. Send requests to people you know personally to see their updates on Facebook. I have to send them a hello message. This account cannot receive your message because they don't allow new messages requests from everyone. That is so weird. Why would you not be able to send a friend request or message somebody on Facebook? The guy must have like serious what do you call it? Restrictions on his account or something. But I do have a 2020 photograph of him, so at least it's something. He went to a different high school than what I went to, so that's part of the reason. This is so weird. And then I got here's some messages I have some weird old messages from him too. Um and he oh yeah, he was also like he was proud of his heritage. He thought it was cool that he had like been born in Russia, and because of that he thought it would be a good idea to try to learn Russian as well. And he was really into yeah, he was really into Russian food because he came over one time and he became good friends with my grandparents. And my grandparents like were happy to go feed him Russian food, and we had like a good friendship there too. So that was another thing I remember as well. So let's see what else. Yeah, and we were talk. So I have 2011 with him about what's it called? My one of my very old um, YouTube channels. He also had things here. I have some old comments from him. Uh, hey world, listen. Just because I'm in Russia doesn't mean I'm part of the KGB or have nukes on me. Yeah, I remember those conversations. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we're good friends uh, because of that connection. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of one of the stories about another friend here. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you all on probably the next live stream. Because I know some of you all were asking for me to make some another friend story video. So yeah, guys, I guess we'll see you all next time. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, comment down below what you would like to see for future videos and episodes, and we'll see you all on the next live stream. Well, take care.